Hi there, I'm Suparna Goswami. I'm Associate Editor with Information Security Media Group. I'm speaking with Colin Bell, who is CTO of HCL with HCLSoftware, and today we will talk about AI and secure code development. So, Colin, thank you so much for joining us in our studio.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So, Colin, as organizations adopt AI-driven code generation, obviously there is a security flaw, right? I mean, security flaw in the sense security vulnerabilities have increased and there's a growing concern about it. So how do you think AI can be leveraged beyond just generating code? It can be leveraged to educate developers as well as automate your security flaws.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, and that is happening. We've actually been doing AI, or what people are calling AI now, since 2016. We've been using large language models to help us with the experience of scanning code, but also to enable that we're not having so many false positives, that we're allowing the information to be very accurate. And further to that, what we're doing now in more recent times is looking at ways to do what we call auto fix and auto triage. So that's being able to do the work of what an analyst might do to fix the problem, and then present it in a way back to the developer that they can understand what the problem is. And also very mindful of getting information into the developer experience, so that the developer, as they're writing code, can understand, if they're introducing vulnerabilities, maybe get little warnings or educational pieces that can assist them. So AI is a very powerful tool, and used in the right way can be very helpful to the developer.
Sure. And as we're talking about AI, obviously people are also talking about API vulnerabilities. And there's a lot of growing concern around that as well. So how can you use AI to stay ahead of the curve? And what can security practitioners do?
Yeah, that's, again, it is an interesting one. I mean, API is as you put, is a really important part of application security these days. We're taking the approach of working with a very important partner called Salt Security, to help us to deliver a large proportion of API security that is really important, which is around the discovery of APIs and also the management of them. And AI is an important part of identifying things within the production environment. And the benefit of that is that we can then bring that information into our testing suite to allow for very in-depth testing of the APIs as they go through. So AI is enriching that whole process of identifying, management, and then also at the testing end as well, deciding what is a vulnerability and what's not a vulnerability within that.
Sure. So, Colin, I'll take a step back, but what are the security trends you're seeing, or cybersecurity threats that you're seeing in the API space?
So there's a number of different threats. I mean, ultimately, an API is a piece of code. So I think the problem that we see a great amount of people have concerns of is that they don't necessarily know what APIs they have. At conferences like this, I always love to ask who knows all their APIs, and no one can put their hand up. So there's two particular types of API that cause great concern. One is shadow APIs, which are remnants of old applications, and then zombie APIs, which are ones which should never be in production and end up there. And they don't necessarily get detected, and they can be very easily exploited. The exploiting of APIs is common, and some of the most significant vulnerabilities in the last number of years have happened through APIs and the attacks on them. But it's no different to attacking an application in a lot of sense,
Sure. So like you said, that people do not know how many APIs they have. There's shadow API, and it's all result because businesses are growing. And as businesses grow, there's also what I hear from CISOs is they complain about tool sprawl. They have to use a lot of tools.
Yeah.
And of course, there is data silos.
Yeah.
So amidst this background, how can they maintain visibility, actionable insights without making the environment more complicated?
Yeah, and it's becoming a growing thing. I mean, out of that has come a real need for what is known as application security posture management. And really what CISOs are interested in, they need to know their risk. And you don't know your risk if you're dealing with a different tool for static analysis versus a different tool to dynamic analysis, and maybe then have a pen testing team doing something completely different again. The only way you can do that is to consolidate that. So tool sprawl is really being controlled, I think, by some of the bigger organizations by consolidation into a single platform, and being able to bring that information in a way that's mindful. We with our product, for example, are able to consolidate findings from static, dynamic, and IaaS together to give actionable findings and make actionable decisions on the risk. And that's, that's one of the key ways to do it. But it's being able to control that and get that sort of risk posture that's really important.
Sure. Thank you, Colin. And maybe finally, I want to ask you, I don't want to leave you that early. What are some AI security trends that you're expecting?
AI security trends. I mean, there's certainly trends around getting what we just talked about, getting much more into the developer experience and auto fixing of code, but doing it in a way that's mindful of not necessarily introducing vulnerabilities, because AI is, if you use AI to generate code, you're just as much introducing vulnerabilities as if a developer had. I think one of the best bits of advice I heard recently is treat AI like a developer, educate it, monitor what it does, and then audit it as well. And if you do that, then and you're introducing that into your DevOps process, then I think you'll be very successful.
Fantastic, Colin. Treat AI like a developer and educated.
Yeah.
Thank you. Perfect way to end our interview. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you.
You're listening to Colin Bell for ISMG. This is Suparna Goswami. Thank you so much for watching.